here, and then there's one right there. All right. Begonia semperflorens-cultorum, one of my least favorite scientific names, is all you really need to do is learn the foliage on begonia. It's so unique that it's relatively easy to tell just simply by the foliage. So the top are extremely glossy, very soft, or very plasticky feeling, okay, rubbery almost. And then there'll be a dark green, sometimes lighter green than this, and sometimes have these little watermarks on them that are sort of a reddish cast. Okay, the veins on the begonia leaves will always be a lighter color than the leaf, and then you flip it over, and you can see actually what I was trying to say with the impatiens. You can kind of see it almost looks like this. I know we can't see them that well, but it almost looks like each little cell is outlined. You'll notice that you can kind of see the way. Okay, you can pass that around. Okay, so on begonia, that's a really easy characteristic to be able to help to identify it as well. All right, the foliage shape is sort of reniform. It's almost rounded, okay, in that way. But then again, it's not got the peltate leaf attachment, but rather it's attached at the base of the leaf again. Okay, and then once you get into the flowers. The flowers are really sort of bright colors. Typically, you can't get whites. You see the pink over here, almost getting into reds in this way, and then you always get this yellow tuft of reproductive structures out here on the top. Okay. And then a lot of times the buds are sort of, well, these structures that sort of subtend is what I'm wanting to show you. The structures that sort of subtend the actual bloom are almost the same shape as the leaf. So you see it in there? So it's almost sort of interesting to me that there's another little structure down there that subtends the blooms that sort of mimic the leaves and give it that nice look. All right, begonias tend to be sort of a rounded mound of foliage and blooms that are maybe 2 to 3 foot tall. Once it begins to get real hot around here, they begin to sort of go down, or if you put them in real heavy shade, they begin to become less vigorous and send out shoots that there's much more space in between the internodes on those shoots. And that's a problem because you want this bush to be, or this little plant to be much more tightly compressed in order to remain relatively ornamental. Okay, so look for that foliage, glossy green to somewhat brownish rusty color. All right, and then I didn't even mention the margins on the leaves. They're sort of a toothed margin. Okay, lighter colored venation, brightly, vibrantly colored flowers. The petals are, okay, with sort of this 4-petaled arrangement, 2 large petals and 2 smaller ones over here, a tuft of reproductive structures, and then a rounded mound of foliage. This is actually 2 separate plants, okay, so don't get confused. That's not a pink along with sort of a magenta. These are 2, I planted a couple of different plants in this particular pot. Okay.